Let's start with a profound piece of wisdom from Imam Ali, a statement that feels so timeless, so universally true, it resonates across ages and cultures. He says, "The one who warns you is like the one who gives you glad tidings." Think about that for a second. It's not just a poetic parallel, it's a call to reframe how we see criticism. A warning, when it's offered sincerely, comes from the same place as a heartfelt piece of good news. It's rooted in care, in concern for our well-being. And yet, how often do we, instinctively bristle at criticism? I think we've all done it. Maybe a colleague points out a small oversight in a project, or a friend mentions how we handled a situation poorly, and our first reaction, defensiveness. But here's the thing. If that feedback is honest, it's a form of kindness. It's someone saying, "I see something you might not see, and I care enough to tell you." Now let's contrast that with flattery. Hypocritical flattery can feel nice in the moment, sure, but it's empty. It does nothing for us. I mean, imagine you're about to step on stage, and your friend notices you've got, a huge smudge on your shirt or something. But they just smile and say, "You look great." That's not kindness, that's avoidance. A real friend, though, the one who says, "Hey, you've got something on your shirt." Yeah, they're the ones steering you towards, saving you from embarrassment. It's that same dynamic with constructive criticism. It may sting a little in the moment, but it saves us from greater pitfalls down the line. And when you really think about it, doesn't that make their honesty a gift? I remember a moment early in my career, back when I was just starting out. I gave a presentation that, honestly, I thought went pretty well. But later that day, a mentor pulled me aside and pointed out a few things. Places where I, let's just say, rushed through my points or didn't connect with the audience. At first, I'll admit, my ego flared up. I mean, who likes hearing that? But when I applied their feedback the next time, the difference was clear. That criticism, it pushed me to grow in a way that praise alone never could. So what does it take to actually recognise criticism as the hidden blessing it is? I mean, let's face it, it's not always easy. But the truth is, this kind of honest feedback often shields us from missteps we weren't even aware of. It's a protective gesture, a way of looking out for one another. Think about it. How many times have we dodged a bullet thanks to someone pointing out something we missed? I remember a friend who once pulled me aside before an important event. I'd written an email, one of those slightly too emotional, kind of heated responses to a situation. It was all typed out, ready to send, and they just said, "Hold on, sleep on it." At the time, I didn't want to hear it. I was convinced I was being clear, even assertive. But the next day, reading it again, I realised they were right. It had a tone I didn't intend at all. Imagine the fallout if I'd ignored that simple advice. It's those moments that honestly remind you how much value there is in care disguised as critique. And, this idea isn't confined to personal anecdotes. It's something deeply rooted in timeless wisdom too. In the Quran, there's this beautiful principle in Surah Al-A'la. Remind if the reminder benefits. It's such a simple directive, but it's profound. Reminders, and yes, that includes constructive criticism, are acts of care, done for the good of another. They're not about tearing someone down, they're about building them up, setting them on firmer ground. But of course, it only works when we're open to it. That's the real challenge, isn't it? To not let defensiveness, our ego really, hold us back. I think once we look past the discomfort and see the intent, a desire to help, to protect, it kind of shifts everything. It turns criticism into something we can appreciate instead of dread. And perspective plays such a big role in all this. We often see criticism as an attack, but what if we reframed it as an act of love? Because if someone didn't care, they wouldn't bother saying anything at all. Let's dive a little deeper into how we can actually, cultivate gratitude for honest guidance. It really starts with changing the way we think about feedback. Instead of viewing it as a critique of who we are, we can start seeing it as someone gently turning on the lights in a room we didn't realise was dim. I mean, those moments, they can be uncomfortable, right? But they're also where growth happens. One piece of advice I've tried to follow over the years is to take a moment, a pause, before reacting to any feedback. It's like, instead of letting that knee-jerk defensiveness take over, just breathe and consider where it's coming from. Odds are the person giving you that feedback isn't, trying to tear you down. They're actually offering you a gift, a chance to correct something before it grows into a bigger problem. And that realization, it can be really empowering. I can remember this one time. It's kind of funny in hindsight, but it took me a while to appreciate it. Early in my broadcasting career, I had this senior producer who, well, he didn't mince words. After one particular show, he told me straight up, "You're not connecting with the audience." At the time, I didn't want to hear it. I thought I was doing fine, but he followed it up with specifics, what I was rushing through, how my tone wasn't inviting enough. It stung, sure, but I took it to heart, and the next time I made changes. The difference was night and day. Listeners started engaging, tuning in more consistently. And honestly, that feedback, it was a turning point for me. It shaped how I've approached every broadcast since then. You see, the wisdom in Imam Ali's words, "The one who warns you is like the one who gives you glad tidings." It's so profound. It's a reminder that both warnings and encouragement, they come from the same place, a desire for us to thrive, to succeed. And when we learn to embrace that duality, we open ourselves up to a whole new level of growth and self-awareness. So as we wrap up today, here's something to reflect on. The next time someone offers you honest feedback, ask yourself, what's the intent behind this? Are they looking out for me? And if the answer is yes, take a moment to thank them, even if you don't fully agree right away. Because those moments of vulnerability, they're where transformation truly begins. And on that note, we'll leave it here. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.